A third oral question, Lord Woodley.
I beg leave to ask the question standing in my name and declare an interest as the former General Secretary of Unite the Union.
My Lords, the Government recognises the deep frustration of residents with the ongoing waste dispute, and the people of Birmingham must be at the heart of resolving this issue. While the Government is not a party in this dispute, the Secretary of State has met both parties and urged them to bring about a sustainable solution to end the dispute. We continue to monitor the situation alongside the associated impact on local communities.
The Minister is very well aware that almost a year ago an agreement was reached at ACAS between the Chief Executive of the Council and indeed Unite to end this dispute, only for it to be vetoed by the Commissioners appointed by the last government on about £1,200 a day. Does therefore the Noble Lady Minister agree that this agreement must be honoured or the Commissioners replaced to end this rat-infested unnecessary dispute which has cost over £33 million to date and so badly damaging services so important to the people of Birmingham?
Well, of course, we all want to see the dispute brought to resolution as quickly as possible. The government-appointed commissioners have been in place at the Council since 2023 to oversee its improvement journey, and that involves working with the Council to make sure that their decisions align with their statutory duties. On the waste dispute, it's not true to say that commissioners are blocking a viable deal. As Noble Lords would expect, commissioners are supporting Birmingham City Council to ensure their approach is in line with their legal obligations, including the best value duty. The commissioners do report regularly to the Secretary of State, but they are independent of government and ministers don't dictate their decisions or approve their actions.
Is it possible for us to agree that one of the reasons we are in this dispute is because refuge workers are so badly paid? I am a former refuge worker. I was a road sweeper for the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea. And I can honestly say that this is a disgrace. And we should really be looking at the fact that if we don't have the removal of rubbish, then cities just fall apart.
Well, I think the Noble Lord raises an important point about the pay of public service workers. It's very important that public service workers are recognised for the real value they provide in our communities. But even before the strike, Birmingham's waste service was failing residents, and for example, in 24-25, residents registered over 120,000 missed bin collections. The Council has now got to press ahead with the much-needed transformation to build a waste service that is fit for purpose and delivers for the people of Birmingham, and that, of course, includes recognising the staff as they should be recognised.
And the words of Lord Woodley on the position of the Commissioners, does the Government have full confidence in the Commissioners appointed to do that job?
Well, the Commissioners are reporting in regularly to the Secretary of State. As I said, they're independent of government, but they are carrying out valuable work in Birmingham. In their most recent report, they did highlight that the Council's made very positive progress in key areas, including in service delivery. They also noted that the waste dispute has diverted attention and the Council has significant work to do to meet the best value duty. So the Commissioners are providing good support to Birmingham City Council. I'm sure they'll continue to do so.
My concern is definitely around that for a whole year the residents of Birmingham have had to endure worsening public health conditions. What additional public health powers are ministers prepared to use if the situation deteriorates, and how bad do things have to be before the government do actually intervene? A year is far too long.
Well, I would say throughout this dispute, the government's priority has been the residents of Birmingham. During the worst disruption in spring 2025, the government provided intensive support to local partners to respond to the public health crisis that was arising then because of the all-out strike action. And the result was to establish a regular contingency waste collection service despite the industrial action. So while the contingency services deliver basic services, there have been periods of missed collections. We continue to monitor this situation and the associated impact on local communities, but for the moment the contingency service is delivering a service to the people of Birmingham.
My Lords, last year Birmingham Conservative Group published a clear plan to end the bin strikes, reinstate weekly collections and resolve the equal pay liabilities. Labour rejected that plan, claiming that negotiations were progressing well. Does the government regret that decision, which could have stopped the strikes 12 months ago, and will the government ensure that constructive opposition proposals that put residents first are properly considered?
Well, I don't think the Conservative Party in Birmingham should wash its hands of some of their part played in creating the crisis that Birmingham have faced overall. So Birmingham's recent history has seen one of the largest equal pay crises in modern terms, and over the past 15 years this has cost the council and the people of Birmingham a great deal of money. But in October last year the council signed the agreement with the unions to settle the historic equal pay claims that had amounted, and this was a significant step forward to move past a dark moment in the city's history and in resetting relationships with staff and their trade union representatives, and talks are ongoing to resolve this current issue.
I don't understand what went wrong last May, because an agreement was reached and the news was that the commissioners had actually blocked that deal. So has the government looked any further into this to make sure of what exactly happened, what went wrong and how it can be improved?
Well, as I said, the commissioners, it's not correct to say the commissioners have blocked a viable deal. And what we want to do now is urge both parties to get back round the negotiating table, find a sustainable solution to end the dispute in the interests of residents. Of course, it's very important that both the equal pay settlement that's been agreed in Birmingham and the best value duty are met in the course of those negotiations.
Isn't the truth that these insanitary and unsalubrious horrors being visited on our second city are the result of an act of grotesque judicial activism? Everyone understands what equal pay means. Men and women should get the same for the same job. Here is a court saying, well, if one profession has mainly men, then that allows us to intervene. I mean, that's disregarding what the law says in favour of what they think the law ought to say. So I wonder whether the noble lady, the Minister, could tell me how many other local authorities in this country face the potential of bankruptcy because of these perverse and expansionist rulings by politicised judges.
Yeah. Well, I'm very pleased to tell the noble lord that this year the council's passed, and very recently passed, a balanced revenue budget without the need for exceptional financial support for the first time in recent years. And this is possible because of the government delivering fairer funding, meaning that Birmingham will receive an increase in core spending power of 45% to help restore their services and restore the local recovery for the economy. And that's very positive progress to deliver the financial sustainability for the residents of Birmingham. And I want to commend the hard work of the council leader, members and officers and the commissioners in getting to this point.
Lord, wouldn't it be a good idea for ACAS? Would it be a good idea for ACAS to get involved again to see if progress can be made with this dispute? Because at the moment it doesn't seem that it's going anywhere, and the people of Birmingham are suffering, and the workers are suffering.
Well, we would certainly encourage all parties that can help with this dispute to get around the table and make sure that this is resolved. It's not in the interest of the people of Birmingham for this to carry on a day longer than it needs to.
2 years, the poor council taxpayers of Birmingham have paid a 10% council tax rise and 7.4% council tax rise and not been able to get a basic service of their bins emptied. What would the Minister say, other than people need to get round the table, to those people in Birmingham to get the most basic of council services?
Well, the noble lord makes a point that I want to expand on, please. It's very important for Birmingham and the people of the West Midlands that in terms of the economy, this can be driven forward so that we can develop the potential that we know Birmingham has. And having this dispute hanging over both the council and the people of Birmingham is not helping that to take place. So that's why I say the sooner we can get this dispute resolved, the sooner we can start building both the economy and the potential and the future for Birmingham that we know that is there and waiting to happen.
The noble lady, the Minister, didn't answer my noble friend's question. How many other councils could be in this position on equal pay?
Well, I think it's fair to say that the situation around equal pay has been resolved in most councils now. In my own council, it took a very long time indeed to resolve it because it hadn't been looked at for a number of years. But it does result in large costs often for the councils. I can't answer specifically how many councils haven't resolved it yet. I think there are probably very few, but I'm happy to look into that and come back to the noble gentleman.